chanting for 30 paramis. All the Buddhas need to fulfill the 30 paramis. Patamam dana parami, dana upa parami, dana paramata parami, tutiyam sila parami, sila upa parami, sila paramata parami, tatiyam nekama parami, nekama upa parami, nekama paramata parami, chatutam panya parami, panya upa parami, panya paramata parami, panchamam viriya parami, viriya upa parami, viriya paramata parami, chatamam kanti parami, kanti upa parami, kanti paramata parami, satamam sacha parami, sacha upa parami, sacha paramata parami, atamam aditana parami, aditana upa parami, aditana paramata parami, nawamam metta parami, metta upa parami, metta paramata parami, dasamam upekha parami, upekha upa parami, upekha paramata parami, samatinsa parami, metri, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, kusala, sampano. Okay, so these are 30 paramis. Now we go for 4 guardian meditations. Start with Buddha Nusati, contemplation on Buddha's quality. Iti piso bhagawa arahan samma sambuddho Vijacharana sampano sugato lokavidu Anutaro purisa dhamma sarati satta dewa manusanam buddho bhagavati Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko opanaiko pachatam veditabo vinyohiti. Sanganusati. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samichipatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidam chatali purisa yugani atta purisa pugala esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo anjali karaneyo anuttaram punya keta lohasati. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, today we'll go straight to the topic. This is 8 pages, all right? But the 3 pages is about story. Now, the reason why I put story, because I think it's important for us to know the Buddhas and his relatives and disciples. So when we read and subsequently you come across this kind of figure, person, you will be familiar with them. And also good to see how they fulfill their parami. Right? Just now we chant about 30 paramis. For the Buddha, it's 30 paramis. For normal people, it's 10 parami. Okay, we start with Thomas. You can read for us.
The wife of Prince Siddhattha, Princess Yasodhara. Past life, Sumita, the future Yasodhara. While Sumedha was making his resolution to attain Buddhahood in front of Dipankara Buddha, a young Brahmin maiden named Sumita went to join the people who were gathering in the presence of the Buddha. She brought 8 lotus blooms to honor the Buddha. When she was in the middle of the crowd, and as soon as her eyes fell on Sumedha, she was seized with a sudden great love for him. Though she wanted to offer him some gifts, she had nothing but the 8 lotus blooms. Then she said to him, Venerable hermit, I give you 5 lotus blooms so that you may offer them to the Buddha by yourself. The remaining 3 blooms are for my own offering to the Buddha. She then handed the 5 lotus blooms to Sumedha and expressed her wish, saying, Venerable hermit, throughout the period you are fulfilling perfections for Buddhahood, may I be the partner who shares your life.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is we call it the wife of Prince Siddhartha. At the final life, she was Princess Yasodhara. Now, in the past, in front of one Buddha, so the Buddha is called Dipankara Buddha. So it's a very long time. And in front of Buddha, now when somebody want to make aspiration to become a Buddhahood, right, in the Theravada tradition, they need to make aspiration in front of a living Buddha. So Sumedha was making his resolution to become a future Buddha, to attain Buddhahood in front of a living Buddha. Okay, so it must be he saw the Buddha and must make aspiration. So and at that time, the young Brahmin Sumita madam, she saw him and fall in love with him, and then she gave him something. Then she handed the 5 lotus bloom to Sumedha, and also very important, which you can see, she made a wish for throughout the periods you're fulfilling the perfection for Buddhahood. May I be a partner who share your life. So because of this, there are many stories. There sometimes we read the story later in this paper. So sometimes they are born as couple. Sometimes they just if he's a hermit, she just support him, offer the food and so on. Or finally they become husband and wife. Okay, right. Okay, brother Leonard. Leonard who? Yes.
Sumedha accepted the lotus bloom from the young lady Sumita and in the midst of the crowd offered them to Buddha Dipankara, who had went towards him, and he prayed for the attainment of perfect self-enlightenment. Observing the scene that had taken place between Sumedha and Sumita, the Buddha made the prediction in the midst of the audience thus: O Sumedha, this girl Sumita will be your partner who will share her life with you, assisting you with equal fervor and deed for your attainment of Buddhahood. She will be pleasing to you with her every thought, word, and deed. She will be lovely in appearance, pleasing of sweet speech, and a delight to the heart. In your dispensation as a Buddha, in your final existence, she will become a female disciple who will receive your spiritual inheritance of arahantship, complete with supernormal psychic powers.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, and the Buddha Dipankara saw their conversation and the scene taking place between Sumedha, who was an ascetic, and Sumita is the Brahmin lady. All right. So he made prediction that Sumedha will be the future Buddha, and Sumita will be uh, the female will be your partner, will be your wife, and also later on she will become a female disciple. You know, because Yasodhara later she actually renounced the world and she practiced very well until she became Arahant with supernormal psychic power. So it seems that the Buddha already see the future, because the Buddha already made the prediction. So it is very important in front of if somebody really want to be a real Buddha, so they need to receive the prediction from a living Buddha, from the like Gautama Buddha received the prediction from the Dipankara Buddha. All right. So that's why we in Chinese we call it London for Dipankara Buddha. Okay, so we continue story. Sister Chai, yes.
Current life. Yasodhara was the daughter of King Supabuddha and Queen Pamita. King Supabuddha was the younger brother of King Suddhodana, which made Yasodhara the cousin of Prince Siddhattha. She was very beautiful with golden skin and long hair. She was born on the same day as Prince Siddhattha. When Prince Siddhattha was 16 years old, his parents wanted him to get married. He then ordered messages to be sent to his 80,000 Sakyan relatives. Thus, Dear Sakyan Prince, my son has come of age and is 16 years old now. I will crown him king. All Sakyan princes should bring their daughters who have come to age to my palace. When the Sakyan prince received the royal message from King Suddhodana, they refused to follow his request. They replied back, Prince Siddhartha lacks education, although possessing a pleasant personal appearance. He has not any skill of a livelihood. He will not be able to support a family. So we cannot agree to the demands of King Suddhodana and give our daughters. To test if the prince was truly worthy, the king arranged a tournament of sports and skills. Prince Siddhartha won every contest. Seeing that the prince was both intelligent and strong, the relatives finally agreed to send their daughters to the palace for marriage. Princesses from all over the country came to meet him, but he did not feel a connection with any of them. Then Yasodhara arrived at the palace. The Prince Siddhartha chose her as his future wife.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, what we know Yasodhara, she actually because the Sakyan rice they actually intermarriage, so she is actually can also a cousin, no? So they are actually closely related. And another thing is she's actually very beautiful. So at that time got very beautiful lady, including the Maha the what Pajapati Gotami. Remember she has two children. One is called Nanda Prince, another one Nanda Princess. So Nanda Princess is also was very beautiful. And Yasodhara also very beautiful. And it says that according to some of the commentaries say that actually she was born on the same day. Some even say like Ananda also born on the same day. Some even say the horse they carry the Prince Siddhartha from the palace also born on the same day. Because why? Because the purpose of why they born in this world is to fulfill their parami. Her parami is that she want to be a partner for the Prince Siddhartha, for the future Buddha. So that's why she born on the same day. Okay, now uh the Prince Siddhartha, because he was raised in a palace, three palaces, and was very well surrounded, well protected, so very pampered. And then even though the King Suddhodana ordered the message to all the ladies, or you all send the daughters, all right, send the daughters to come to palace, but none of them really interested because they think that he looked nice, but he are not talented. That's why they have the tournaments and so on, competition and so on. Right. And finally he won, and then Yasodhara, and then he married Yasodhara. Okay. Right. Uh okay. Then Suganda, you can read. Yeah.
In fact, Yasodhara's father, King Supabuddha, did not want his daughter to marry the prince. He knew the prophecy that Prince Siddhartha would one day leave the palace to become a Buddha. For 13 years, they lived happily in the palace. Then Yasodhara gave birth to a baby boy named Rahula. He went forth on the same night. Soon after the birth, she learned that her husband had decided to leave the palace to search for the truth. Yasodhara was not angry or surprised. She understood his calling and was happy that he was following his spiritual path. Of course, she was feeling sad, but she understood his greatest wish for liberation. Years later, after Siddhartha had become the Buddha, he returned to Kapilavastu. Yasodhara thought to herself, if I have any good virtue, the Buddha will come to see me. She then told their son Rahula to go and ask his father for his inheritance.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, so a lot of people know the prophecy that Prince Siddhartha would leave the palace. You know, that's why sometimes the King Supa Buddha didn't want the daughter. So in fact, actually, so later when the Prince Siddhartha left the palace, so the King Subhabada was actually not very angry, all right, not happy with him at all, because Yasodhara was left like that. He was having lots of evil towards the Buddha. Okay. Okay. Anyway, they get married, they live happily, and then she gave birth to a baby boy called Rahura, right? So yeah. And then he went forth on the same night. You know, when she was sleeping, the baby was born. I think you all see the picture like this, right? So she was sleeping, tired of the childbirth, and then he actually opened the door. He want to see the baby, but the way she sleep, like covering the face of the baby, so he decided that he didn't want to disturb her, so he just left it, so without seeing the baby boy. But actually, even though we of course Yasodhara as a woman, as a princess, she will be very sad, you know. But she was not. I would not think that she was an angry type, because why? Because she has that kind of parami from very, very past life, and she understands his feeling. Because after he see the four sign, uh, a sick person, a dead person, sick person, how right? Aging, he see an old person, a sick person, and then he see a what? Dying person, dead person, and he's ascetic. Then of course he will discuss his feeling to his wife. Yeah. But she understand that he wants liberation. And after that, when he came back, right, he came back to the Buddha came back to Kapilavastu. Then Yasodhara think about that. If I have any good virtue, the Buddha will come to meet me. Because everybody, when the Buddha came to Kapilavastu, so everybody go and meet the Buddha. And then at first they were very proud. So after the Buddha performed the miracle, the twin miracle, so they pay respect to the Buddha. So a lot of people go and see the Buddha, except Yasodhara. She didn't go because she thought that if she had good virtue, the Buddha will come to see her personally. So later, actually, the Buddha really went to her bedchamber to see her. And then she told their son Rahula to ask the Buddha for inheritance. Okay, so this kind of photo, because when Buddha was going arms round in the royal city of Kapilavastu, you know, so she pointed the child, this is your father. Go and ask inheritance from him. All right. Yeah, that's how the story go by. Okay. Okay. Then she didn't see the Buddha, but the Buddha went to see him. So the Buddha understood her deep wish, because she really longed to see the Buddha, you know. But even though of her wish, she didn't go to see Buddha. She thought that the Buddha should go and see him. So the Buddha really understand her deep wish. He went to see her. So when he met, she praised her for incredible patience and all the sacrifices she made. Right. So I cut off the story. I cut down the story. If not, the story will be a long one. All right. So anyway, later she and her mother-in-law Mahapajapati Gotami become the Buddha's nun. So previously we studied Mahapajapati was the first nun, and then when she went to meet the Buddha, she was followed by many second lady, so including the Yasodhara, right? So that's why she and Mahapajapati, they are considered the very first group of Buddhist nun bhikkhuni. Through her dedication, Yasodhara also became an arahant with a full power, a second power, and a fully enlightened one. Maybe arahant, we should not put the word fully enlightened one. I think delete it better. Because fully enlightened one normally refer to Buddha. All right. Okay, now we come to Jataka story. Now I want to show you all this because for you all to understand, there are many textbooks in Tipitaka, right? There are many textbooks. The normal things you will see, like all the, we call it, the Tipitaka, the Vinaya for monks and nuns, the Sutanta. Sutta have Dika Nikaya, long length discourse, middle length discourse, Samyutta connected discourse, Anguttara is scheduled saying. So beside the Anguttara, we have Kutaka Nikaya. Kutaka Nikaya, there are 15 books. So we have also like Jataka and so on, and Dhammapada and so on. The story for Thera monks, story for Bhikkhuni Theri and so on. So Jataka story is very huge, right? So if you go and do the translation for Jataka, okay, Jataka stories translation is translated for, it's actually translated quite long ago, 1895, 1907. It's a very written in the old English way. Sometimes it's not easy to read, right? It's a very interesting story because there are stories about meaning about Buddha born on his path of Bodhisattva. He born as animals, as an elephant, as uh, other animals, right? So if you want to read, you can go online, okay, in the ancient Buddhist texts. Okay, all right, birth story of Buddha. About previous life of Buddha means he was as a Bodhisattva, right? Translated very long time, 1880, 1907, revised by Ananta Jyoti Bhikkhu, 2023. Right? Ebook, you can download PDF. Okay, you just like the word Jataka story. Okay, now we go back to that. Right. Ivy, you can read this one, Jataka story.
Okay. The Buddha understood her deep wish. He went to see her. When they met, he praised her for her incredible patience and all the sacrifice she had made. Later, she and her mother-in-law, Mahapajapati Gotami, became the first Buddhist nuns. Through her dedication, Yasodhara also became an arahant. Jakarta story are a voluminous body of ancient folklore from the Indian subcontinents that detail the previous life of the Gautama Buddha. In these tales, which number in the hundreds of Buddha to be the Bodhisattva, appear in various incarnations as both humans and animal, ranging from a king or a hermit to an elephant, a monkey, or a rabbit. These stories serve as moral fables designed to teach essential Buddhist values like compassion, selflessness, diligence, and karma. The score teaching of Jataka tales can be categorized into key terms and collection.
Okay, thank you. So this means that if we want to know the journey, okay, we will say the journey from the Dipankara Buddha, how he get prophecy, he will be the future Buddha, and in throughout the life, many lifetimes, sometimes he not only born as human, but he also born as animal, and many story he sacrificed life as a monkey king and so on. So it actually is very interesting to read the story, but sometimes you get distracted because the story is a lot, right? But it's actually we use the Jataka story normally for the children because children like the interesting story about animals. So it starts with a lot of moral values and so on. So one of the story is this one. Okay. So this is called Chanda Kinara Jataka story 485. Right? Kin Fai, Brother Lau Kin Fai, all right?
Chanda Kinara Jataka. Once the Bodhisattva, born as a Kinara named Chanda, lived with his maid Chanda. Is it pronounced as Chanda? Because it's both Chanda.
Chanda, yeah, Chanda, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Chanda in the Chanda mountain in Himalaya. One day, while they were disporting themselves near a little stream, singing and dancing, the king of Benares, who had gone hunting, saw Chanda and fell in love with her. So he shot Chanda with an arrow. And when Chanda lamented aloud at the sight of her dead husband, the king revealed himself and offered her his love and his kingdom. Chanda scorned the offer and protested to the gods that they should have allowed harm to befall her husband. Saka's throne was heated by her such great loyalty and coming in the guise of Brahmin. He restored to Chanda his life. The king was Anuruddha and Chanda was Rahula Mata.
Okay, thank you. I think this should be Chanda. Should be Chanda, yeah. Because her husband already died. Right, so this is story how Yasodhara in the previous life as a Kinnara. Kinnara is kind of like, we see the notes there. It's a celestial mystical being, human head with a body of bird, right? So we see this in many of the temple in Myanmar, also Thai. So anyway, so the story is she loved the husband even though he dead already, even though the king want to tempted her with love and the kingdom. But this female Chanda protested. And then we can see also like this, sometimes when something interesting happen, the Saka is uh, the Saka king there, he sit on the throne will be heated, and then he knows that something happened. Because of this sign, then he come down as a Brahmin and restore Chanda, the husband, to life. Right? Yeah. So Chanda was Lahula Mata. Lahula Mata means Yasodhara. Right? Rahula is a son. So Mata is the mother of the son Rahula. So it's Yasodhara. So Yasodhara was reborn as Chanda in this story. And that means that we see her pyramid. She to here she still have strong love to the husband, Sumita. All right. So the story was related by the Buddha when when he visited his father's palace at Kapilavastu and heard from Suddhodana how devotedly Rahula Mata means that the Princess Yasodhara has continued to love the Buddha. So even though at that time the Buddha already abandoned her, he left the palace and she still keep the love to him. Right. So it was not the first time she has shown her undying affection. Right. Right. So this is a story of from the Jataka, Chanda Kinara Jataka. Right. Okay. Now in Theravada Buddhist Tipitaka, Parikanan, Kinnaras are celestial mystical beings that described as having a head of human and body. So being half human and half bird. So they're highly celebrated for their beauty, their gentle and timid nature, and their supreme magical and dancing abilities. So if you go for Kinara, I think Kinara pictures, then just start like this. Then when you go to the temple, you will see all these mystical, right? Half human body, and then like bird. So this is called Kinara. So we will see this in temple, Myanmar temple or Thai temple, you will see this. All they are mystical animal, right? From a Jataka story and so on. So like this, then we start to appreciate where is the Buddhist arts coming from, right? All these are Buddhist art. Right, so we go back. Okay, now we finished the story. Now let's go to the fundamental teaching. All right, because sometimes is after story, it's good to go deeper lah. Now we go for theory. Just now it's just a story only. Let's go for theory now. Four Noble Truths. Viriya, Brother Viriya Kumar, yes.
Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path are the foundational teachings of Buddhism, first expounded by the Buddha after his enlightenment. They are often compared to a medical diagnosis and prescription. The truths identify the illness, and the path provides the cure. Number one, the truth of suffering unsatisfactorily. Dukkha. Life is inherently unsatisfactory and involves suffering. This includes obvious forms of pain, physical illness, aging, death, separation from loved ones, as well as a more subtle, pervasive sense of unease, the feeling that things are never quite perfect or permanent. Number two, the truth of the origin of suffering, samudaya. The root cause of suffering is craving, or tanha. This includes craving for sensory pleasures, kama tanha, craving for existence, becoming, bhava tanha, and craving for non-existence, annihilation, vibhava tanha. Attachment to desires and the illusion of a permanent self fuel the cycle.
Okay, thank you. Right, so the Four Noble Truths only appear after Buddha enlightened. Right, so before Buddha enlightened, nobody know the Four Noble Truths. Nobody know the Noble Eightfold Path. But each Buddha, they will preach the same thing. Each Buddha will preach the Four Noble Truths, the practice Noble Eightfold Path. It is say like it is say, for example, like you go to Nibbana. Nibbana is just similarly, it's just kind of like ancient city. And then the path, like when nobody traveled for a long time, so the path was covered by the leaves, by the trees and so on. So the old path was lost totally. Then somebody, a Buddha appeared. So he find the same path. Right. So that means that in previous periods of Buddha, all the Buddhas they teach about Four Noble Truths. So the current Buddha, Gautama Buddha, also teach the Four Noble Truths, but it's only after his enlightenment. Right. Okay, now it's like similarly, illness is like the first truth, life is suffering, or life is unsatisfactoriness, right? So we call it dukkha. Now, Four Noble Truths is called satya. Truth is called satya, right? Now, if you want to put another Pali word, we can put the word Arya Satya, noble truth, Arya Satya. So here, the first truth we call it dukkha satya. Okay. Second one, we call it samudaya satya. Right. So the first truth is talking about life. Yes, in life there are some good experience, some bad experience, but we are talking about, if we are talking about the whole life, from the birth, there will be aging, sickness, death, and separation from loved ones and so on. This one we cannot escape. Once we are born, there will be sickness and so on, right? So even you, no matter how good you maintain the body, your body is still subject to aging. Right? So you find this when you're 50 years old, 60 years old, you find that your body have more problem and problem. So we call it obvious pain. This is obvious one. But there are something that are not obvious. Like when you sit down for a while, you feel that you want to move your body. Why? Because when you have this body, you will have painful feeling. It's difficult to maintain the body for a long time for human. So after you sit down for a while, you feel that your leg pain, your chest pain, or your shoulder pain, or your pain, or your back pain, and so on. So we always have bad feeling in the body. So this one we cannot escape. So the root cause is craving. Once they are craving, then we come back again. So the obvious craving is we call it kama tanha, craving for sensual pleasure or sensory pleasure. So this one is very easy because like you want to have good food, good drink and something. If you cannot get it, then you will have suffering. So it's straight away all the craving will lead to your mind restless and so on. So this is called craving for sense objects, craving for good sight, good sound, good smell, good taste, and so on. Now, craving for existence, bhava tanha. This bhava tanha is actually here not mentioned here, but actually bhava tanha has two, right? So it is linked with the eternalism belief. Believe that this self or soul will live forever. That's why it's the meaning of bhava. Bhava means becoming, craving for existence or craving for becoming. So it's linked with this. All right. So this means that we believe that when we pass away, our self or our soul or this I will continue another life. It may be different form, but it's still the same self, same soul, or same I. Most people will have this belief because you say, okay, I die. You feel that, okay, next life, I still want to come back. All right. So this is we call it bhavatana. Now, another one we call it vibhavatana. Vibhavatana is linked with another one we call it annihilation belief, right? It's believed that this self or soul or this I will cease at that time. This means that when we pass away, you believe that you will forever, you will feel you will forever no more already. Okay. So which one actually is much more difficult to actually in terms of theory, which one is more difficult to annihilate? This one, the number one, is difficult because most people will have the idea, I want to live forever. Even in the next life, is still this same I. Okay. But the second one is only maybe some people will feel that, okay, when I, at the moment I die, moment of death, I will be no more. All right. Totally no more. So this is called craving for non-existence or annihilation belief. These two actually cling to the idea of what? Soul or self. Okay, now when we learn Vipassana, there's no self and no soul. What we have is just only mind and body. So they cling with the idea of self and soul. Okay, now number third and fourth. Sister Sumitra Khan, number 3 and 4.
Oh, sorry, okay. Number 3, the truth
Yes.
of the cessation of suffering, nirodha. There is an end to suffering. By letting go of great craving and attachment, one can achieve nirvana or nibbana in Pali, a state of profound peace, liberation, and the extinguishing of the fires of greed, hatred, and ignorance. Number 4, the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering, Magga Sacha. The way to end suffering is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. It is the practical guide to achieving liberation and living a balanced, mindful, and ethical life.
Okay, thank you. All right. So if one want to cease the suffering, then you must cease the cause. All right. So suffering is the result. So we call it this is a result, right? So if you want to terminate the result, you need to look for the cause. So what is the cause? Cause means craving, right? So letting go of craving, then you can achieve nibbana or nirvana. Now, what is nibbana? Nibbana. So at that time, there's no mind and body, but what we know nibbana is a state of profound peace, liberation. And mending is a extinguishing of the fires of greed, hatred, and ignorance. Now, this Pali word nibbana, vana, okay, craving, right? Craving. But another meaning vana is like jungle also, right? Literally jungle. So it's like when you go inside the jungle, everything is so blur, so messy, so tangled, the roots, the the grass and so on. So difficult to come out. Right. So vana is craving or jungle. So nirvana means literally free from craving, right? So ni plus vana. The prefix is ni plus vana. So really means we call it free from craving.
So,
But
Yaji,
when you free from yes,
Vana is a Sanskrit word or Pali word?
this is a Sanskrit. This is a Pali. Sanskrit is uh, much more difficult to pronounce, right? So this Pali. So Nirvana. So Nirvana, you make it in Pali very easy. You change it to Nirvana, right? Why? Because R and V you combine, you become VV. Then VV change it to BB. Nirvana, Nibbana, Nibbana, Nirvana. All right. Okay, now. Yeah. Okay, now. So actually, how we know this is we call Nirodha. Nirodha means cessation of suffering. So samudaya is cause. Or the word samudaya means origin. So cessation is Nirodha. In like dependent origination, we will chant the Nirodha, means the when like craving is when ignorance is ceased, then there will be others will cease and so. So there's a word Nirodha here. Now, Nibbana is normally explained the state of profound peace. Why? Because there are no suffering. There are no the first truth. All right. So at that time, especially when they attain the Parinibbana, so there are no more life, no more future rebirth, and also no craving. No craving means no defilements, no greed, hatred, delusion, ignorance. Okay, and how to achieve this? Need to follow the Magga. So in a way, if we look at it, this will be the cause. And this will give rise to the result. Right. Now, normally we say in the Dhamma, everything can sum up to cause and effect, like karma, right? So you know karma is action. So karma is that one good action will give the good result. Right. So Four Noble Truth, if you want to sum up, is also a pair of cause and effect. Cause and effect. Right. So the second one, craving is the cause. The result will be suffering. The one path is the cause leading to the nibbana. So that's how when we say if you want to practice, we have to follow the noble eightfold path. Right. Now we go for noble eightfold path. This part is all theory, but it's essential for us to know. All right. Now, okay, Brother Brian Tan, you can read. Yes.
Okay. The Noble Eightfold Path. The path is divided into three core categories: wisdom, pana, ethical conduct, sila, and mental discipline, samadhi. Wisdom, pana. 1. Right view. Samadhi, understanding the truth nature of reality. This means seeing things as they are, grasping the fourth noble truth, understanding karma, and accepting the impermanence, suffering, and non-self of all things. 2. Right intention, resolve, sama sankappa, cultivating wholesome intentions. This involves renouncing desire, letting go of ill will and hatred, and committing to non-violence and compassion towards all beings. Ethical conduct, sila. 3. Right speech, samavaka. Speaking truthfully and harmoniously. This means abstracting from lying, gossiping, slander, and harsh or abusive language. Speech should be helpful and kind.
Okay, thank you. Right, now, Noble Eightfold Path, you can literally divide it into 3. Right. So before that, Noble Eightfold Path is a path that we call it with 8 factors. 8 factors, right? So the Panya will be 2, Sila will be 2 or 3, okay? Right. And then the discipline will be 3. Now, wisdom, the Pali word Panya, right? Sometimes we still have to go back to Pali because sometimes when we come to translation, there are different translations. Sometimes we call it Panya, we can translate as knowledge, right? So it's good to learn what is a possible English translation. Sometimes we got it, knowledge, Panya. So under Panya will be Sama Ditti, Sama Sankappa. All right, sorry, then the Ditti, sometimes we can translate as view. Sometimes we can translate as understanding, right? So anyway, the Ditti. So opposite of Ditti will be Michya Ditti. So when you learn in the Abhidhamma, when you have the word Ditti alone, it's always wrong view, okay? Even if you don't need to put the word like Michya, okay? So the word Ditti alone always means wrong view. But when you put the word Sama Ditti, it becomes right view, okay? Right view. Now, view is kind of like perception, how you see. So we need to understand the true nature of reality, including, like, for example, anicca, dukkha, anatta, all right, and also understand Four Noble Truth, understand karma, right? So all these are this one. So including these, there are many different ideas. Sometimes like vipassana, samadhi, understand about vipassana also is considered samadhi. Sometimes in some of the commentary they put jhana samadhi, right? So basically there are various categories. So anyway, so mainly for meditator will be impermanent suffering non-self, anicca, dukkha, anatta. For as a Buddhist, fundamentally you have to understand Four Noble Truths. So when life is not going smooth, that's correct because there's in the First Noble Truth. Then you have Sama Sankappa. Sometimes it's also different translation. Sometimes they call it intention. Sometimes they call it resolve. Sometimes we call it right thought. Actually, the word Sankappa itself is kind of like thinking, how we think. So right thought should be better translation. Right. So cultivating good one and reducing the bad one. Bad one including the evil and hatred, violence, and bad one. So we should let go of the bad one. And so that is how we literally say, like, when we try to reduce the unwholesome thoughts, right? So it's under this one. But if you want to reduce the unwholesome thoughts, you need to understand karma. When you understand karma, you know that it's good to do good and it's good to avoid evil. Then your thought will be try to do more wholesome thoughts, have more wholesome ideas about others and yourself, right? So these two are in a way linked to each other. So I would say right view or right understanding is kind of like how we perceive things. What is our understanding about things? So if we have right understanding about karma, then we will have right thought. If you think karma is not important, like in Abhidhamma we say, if the boy think stealing is a good thing, so then he will not have right thought. But if a boy think he understand that stealing is a bad thing, then he will have a right understanding, have right thoughts. So these two are linked to each other. So you can say right understanding is a cause, right thought is the effect. in a way, we can see, actually in Dhamma, if you try to see everything cause and effect, is better, right? So then we have Sila, right? Sila, morality. Okay. Okay, next person. Cindy Yo, right? Yes.
Ethical conduct, morality, sila. Right speech, samavacha, speaking truthfully and harmoniously. This means abstaining from lying, gossiping, slander, and harsh or abusive language. Speech should be helpful and kind. Right action, samma kamanta, acting morally and ethically. This involves abstaining from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. It encourages honesty, respect for life, and kindness in physical deeds. Right livelihood, sama ajiva, earning a living in a way that does not harm others. This means avoiding traits that cause suffering, such as dealing in weapons, intoxicants, such as drugs and alcohol, slavery, and slaughtering animals. Mental discipline, concentration, or samadhi. Right effort, samma vayama, cultivating an energetic will. This involves preventing unwholesome states from arising, abandoning unwholesome states that have already arisen, and developing and maintaining wholesome states like mindfulness and concentration. Right mindfulness, samasati, developing intense awareness of the present moment. This is the core of meditation practice, being fully aware of the body, feelings, the mind, and mental phenomena or dhammas without attachment or aversion. Right concentration, samma samadhi, developing deep one-pointed focus of the mind through meditation. This leads to the jhanas, profound states of absorptions, which serve as the foundation for achieving ultimate liberation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. So if we see the panya is 2, right? And under the sila is 3, right? So we have 3 things here. And under samadhi, there's a 3. So 2 plus 3 plus 3, you got 8. Now, right speech. Now, we look at the right action first. Right action means opposite of wrong action. Now, what is wrong action? All these are killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. So under 5 precept, this is the precept number 1, 2, right? 1, 2, and 3. So this is the precept 1, 2, 3. And then the speaking rightly means against the false speech. All right. So this is also against the precept. Don't break the precept also. Okay. Now, number 5 is the sama ajiva. Means ajiva means livelihood, right? Means do a way in a way that it will not disturb others. Okay, so there should be long I here. Ajiva. Okay, long. Okay. So don't harm others, including nowadays we call it like scam or cheating and so on. So traditional is say like weapons, intoxicants, slavery, slaughtering animals, things that will harm others. All right. So in a way that this kind of job, it will break your precepts, it break your morality, and it will disturb others. Okay. So this is correct speech, action, livelihood. And the final one will be samadhi, will be 3. You need to have effort. So in Saturday class, there are 4 types of effort, all right? So here already mentioned some of the 4 types, including preventing the unwholesome, abandon the unwholesome, and you need to develop and maintain or increase, fulfill the wholesome. So that's under right effort. So like effort, we normally say there are four types of effort, right? And mindfulness, basically, what is mindfulness means awareness, right? Awareness of present moment. So means that always very easy. Bring your mind now. Don't let the mind go to the past, don't go to the future. But of course, sometimes you need to make plans for the future. But basically, for meditation, your effort should be now, right? Aware of the satipatthana, body, feeling, mind, mental, all these are satipatthana. Okay. And what is samadhi? Samadhi means one pointedness, focus, and the purpose is to gain jhana. First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, as a foundation for achieving ultimate liberation. All right. So there's a Four Noble Truth here, describe the human's condition, and then we suffer the desire that suffer it. Second noble truth, we can end it. There's third noble truth. The Noble Eightfold Path is the fourth noble truth, prescribed as middle way between the indulgence and asceticism. Now, when we see the Noble Eightfold Path, uh, if we look at the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, then Buddha at first he said they are middle way. One should avoid from two extreme. One of the extreme is indulgence so much, like when he was as a Prince Siddhattha, he was indulged with sensual desire. And after that, he was practicing very hard practice for 6 years. So we should avoid two, because too much indulgence, our mind become weak. Too much asceticism make the body is too much suffering. All right. So this is called middle way. Sometimes we call noble eightfold path. We also call it middle way. All right. So we break for 5 minutes and we continue. We still have 5 pages to go. Today is a little bit long, but we don't need to finish all. Okay. 5 minutes break.